I stand LOONA, guys! Yay! Okay. Hello everyone, Misaki here, and today, look at all these pretty and handsome people on my screen, except one person. Yes, I'm calling that person out. I'm not ashamed to do it. But yeah, today is the very first episode of a thing I would like to call, I don't know, idol podcast, I suppose, on this channel. And yes, today I will not be introducing them, but they will be doing their introductions themselves because there's too many people. So I guess we'll start with the person above me, who is Aaron. Let's go.
Oh, it's me. Okay.
Yeah, it's you.
Hello, my name's Aaron, and you'll find my YouTube channel as Ayo Gillies, or my Twitter as Ayo Gillies. I stand from Nine, but I'm open to any group.
Okay, and then the next person would be...
Hey, hi guys, I'm Chad. Okay, so I don't have a YouTube channel per se, but my Twitter handle is at ChatRoshi.
Alright, the next person, anyone can just speak up.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm mainly a J-pop fan, mainly for Sakamichi 46. I do a channel with Ruka below me called No Idol No Life. We just talk about idols in general, really. K-pop, J-pop, what have you. My Twitter is Morisup_Yuko on Twitter. So, yeah.
You're somewhere.
Yes, hi, I'm Ruka. I have actually been on Misaki's YouTube channel before. We have collaborated in the past, and as Michael said earlier, I have my own YouTube channel, No Idol No Life International, where we talk about idols, J-pop, K-pop, all sorts of different idol-related topics and reactions as well. I originally started as a J-pop fan, mainly AKB48 and the 48-46 group, but recently I have moved on to K-pop, and I'm standing groups like LOONA, Dreamcatcher, other groups, stuff like that.
Yep. And finally...
Okay. Yes, hello, I'm Van. I'm the person who's not on video, as you can see. Okay, but I've actually been on Misaki's channel before as well, just that not today. As in my video's not on for today. Okay, so I've been into J-pop first since I was really young, like maybe 2007, 2008 when I was about 14, 15. And around the same time I actually got to know K-pop as well through my classmates, but I've only considered myself to really know, become a K-pop fan around maybe 2011 or 2012, somewhere there. Yeah, I've been more casually into it, but only got really deep into K-pop around 2018. So actually, pretty new compared to like my time in J-pop. In J-pop, I was a big fan of, still am, of Yamamoto Sayaka, former NMB48 member. And for K-pop, my main fandom, I'm mostly into Everglow, but I also like IU and B2B.
Okay, and for me, myself, yes, I am the host for this podcast. I don't really look like a host right now, but like, there you go. Yes, for me, my little origin story would be, I don't even remember when I started standing 48 group, but I went from the anime phase. I'm not sure if anyone's into anime here, but
I think I was the same as you.
Yeah,
Same.
I went through the anime phase, then suddenly I just got into J-pop because I watched AKB0048, and then my friend told me that Mendel existed, and then apparently it's like starring Takamina, Hojiharu, and Misha. Then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just watch it for the lows. And then I fell in love with them, and I'd be like, okay, I'll just go into AKB, let's see how it goes. And then then I started watching AKB. Slowly I'm like, oh, Jurina is cool. And then I just went into SK. Then, oh, Sayaka, oh my gosh. Then it's like Sayaka. And then it's like, oh my gosh, Miyawaki Sakura. And then it'll be like, oh, HKT. And then suddenly Produce 48 happened, right? We all know Produce 48. So then that happened, and then Aizwan happened, and then during Aizwan, I don't know how, Promisenine just came into my life, and that happened, and then I watched like the drama. drama with like Yuri and Chu in it, then Chu happened, right? So it's like LOONA happened. So yeah, everything is like a domino effect for me in my life. And
Exactly.
it's, I don't know, it's been 10 plus years since I've been a K-pop stan, and for now my out groups, I'm very sure you all know, if you've watched the channel, it's aizwan, LOONA, Promise9, Mamamoo, even though I don't really talk about Mamamoo as much, but like I still, yeah, that's one of my favorite groups. As for 48 groups, slowly I've detached myself from them because all my Oshimen have unfortunately or fortunately graduated, so yeah, there's that, even though I still support their
like
solo
that.
activities. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so we're just gonna jump into our very first topic that we're gonna talk about, and basically we did kind of cover it already. According to my list, it was like, how do we get into J-pop and K-pop or both? But I guess we've already went through it somewhat.
I mean, I didn't really get into my
You can go
K-pop
through.
story.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
I don't really remember how I got into J-pop, but after my anime phase that you alluded to before,
Right.
like that's when I started to learn Japanese. Like this was like in my last years of high school when I was learning Japanese, and then at that point I was looking for like other media to dive into for Japanese, so I could like learn more Japanese. And then I found out like the variety shows and everything, AK Bingo being the biggest one.
Oh yeah.
And then from there, I just liked AKB and all of the sister groups. And like you said, Produce 48 came along, and then I saw Giddy, and then my whole life turned around.
Wow.
See, this is a proof that Produce 48 turned a lot of J-pop stans' lives around, or vice versa sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I mean, I got into it pretty late for Produce 48. Because I started watching when the finals, like the members were announced.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What?
Like, cause I'm a big, I was a Teammates fan. So that you have Honda Hitomi. And then I saw on like the social media that she was going to Korea. I was like, why? And then, I went to watch, and I was like,
Then after
yeah, basically. I tried to not spoil the final results, but I already knew Hitomi was in.
Actually, Chad, did you watch Produce 48?
Not until like I think halfway through the episode, like halfway through the finale, that I got to explore more on all the Japanese members, the Japanese trainees. So I go and explore myself. I did research of who are they, where did they come from, and all that. So it's quite fascinating to see that how they merge both countries, both nations in one group at the end.
Yeah. What about you, Michael? Did you watch Produce 48?
I watched it on and off. I didn't watch all of it. And I don't really remember much of it either. So.
Just watch the YouTube highlights.
Yeah. Probably that's
Yeah, that's kind of the same way for me too. I kind of semi kept up with it at the start, at the first few episodes, but then like after, I think it was mainly after the Sosenkyo happened in Japan with the 48 group, I just started not keeping up with Produce 48 as much and only seeing like the YouTube highlights.
Oh boy. Yeah, like I guess we can like kind of talk about that part, and then oh my gosh, the Sosenkyo. So basically
They're always crazy.
Yeah.
They're
So
always crazy.
just in case Chad's not aware of it, so the Sosenkyo is like a general election that the 48 group annually had before till 2018.
Don't have it anymore.
Yeah, and then after 2018 they stopped. I'm not sure why, but like yeah, so basically it's like a popularity competition. So you buy like a single, and then there's like a voting code, then you just vote for the member that you want. And then
so people will buy like multiple singles so they can get multiple voting tickets.
So like, and then
I don't remember.
Can you get multiple voting tickets or just the one?
I think you have to buy like I don't know. If you buy 10, then you have
You
10.
have to buy multiple singles to get multiple votes. Just
Yes, that's
one
right.
per CD. So
Right. Yeah.
I still remember. I think it was an Obermina fan like sold his house just to buy a ton
Oh
of
my.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I
That's
remember.
commitment.
Yeah. People go through crazy lengths, man. You think Produce 48
Yeah.
like voting is like oh no.
You haven't
You haven't seen
Yeah.
anything yet. But yeah, I mean, I guilty as charged. I also did that.
Buy the single.
Yeah, but then yeah, you know, Japanese singles are also really expensive, so you know, ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they? Japanese singles?
To me, they are.
Depends on what version you get.
Oh, well,
Compared to
yeah.
Korean ones, the Korean
I
ones
don't
are more
remember.
expensive, aren't they?
But you think
Actually,
about
can't
it.
remember.
But you think about it, like value per, like
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
there's like items in
Yeah,
the
right.
Korean ones, right? And then there's
yeah,
only
yeah.
a ticket or maybe a bromide, and then that's it. And
Right.
Yeah.
like, come on, like the value, you know. That's,
Yeah, I know, but price-wise, actually, it's not super expensive, especially if you live there. Like, cause you're talking about.
Oh,
people who
okay.
are-
If you
Not
live there,
singles,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because like the people, most of them who like the big spenders are either from Japan or China.
That's
so
true, yeah.
like, yeah, you know, China is like they spend a lot on everything. J-pop, K-pop, it doesn't even matter. So it's just the same. But like you're living in Japan and you bought like multiple singles, right? In a way, I mean, not saying that it's cheap, but it's actually not super expensive, especially you bulk buy and it's like local shipping.
Yeah.
So you know that's also part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but yeah, about the So Thank You again, the top 16, if I remember correctly, the top 16 will be on the title track, and then the following will be like,
Like
on
every
the top
16 members,
Yeah.
like in the song. So yeah, as you said, top 16 in the title track, and then next 16, and then so on and so forth. Until
Yeah, so altogether there will be like 80 girls on the CD itself.
Yeah.
Perform doing the song. 80, not 18. 80. 80.
Yeah, but the elections are kind of scammy.
Yeah,
Because,
it is
like-
scammy. Low-key.
No, because like even if you made it like to the top 16, right, in that one, it's only for that one single. The next single, the
Single, yeah.
management can be like, yeah, I don't like you, girl. I don't like this girl. I don't like this girl. And like even if she made it to the top 16, she might be just like gone from the next following singles as well. It's just all up to the management after that. So it's like,
Yeah.
what's the point? You're only there for like one single. People remember you from one single maybe, but some maybe they don't. Then you just disappear after that. So in a way, it's kind of like, yeah, pretty scammy.
Yeah. But then again, you know, it's kind of more fairer to vote through buying tickets. I'm just gonna end it there.
Just saying it.
Yes. Yeah, but okay, let's not talk about the controversial stuff for now, and then we'll just jump into let's see. Okay, so reasons we stand or support our fandom.
The main group I stand is Promise9.
Yeah.
And for AKB, well, I'm now not really into them anymore, but it's mainly like Team 8, like I said before.
Right.
But reason why I stand Promise9, I don't know. I think
What? Wow, okay, that ended quickly. Hey.
I don't know what, like a specific reason why I stand them specifically. You know, like the only reason I got into like Promise9 was because of Giddy, because she looked like Jisoo, because that was like the only K-pop group I knew before anything. And then I think it's just go down the spiral, and then somehow I'm still here.
Somehow, and you're like the biggest Giri stan on Twitter right now. Wow. Okay. Cool. Interesting. So that's how it is.
Yuri.
That's life.
Yeah. Honestly, that's right.
Yeah, it's just life at this point.
Commercial break, and this is where I'm gonna talk about the giveaway. Hello everyone, editor Misaki here. I'm not going to show my face, but I just want to announce on behalf of the Rojak squad that we will be holding our very first channel giveaway to all our lovely subscribers out there who especially loves Aizwan, and of course Kwon Eunbi, because this giveaway will be for Kwon Eunbi's very first solo album, which is open. And as you can see me scrolling through all this, the form is in the link down below, and I'll be also making mention of it on Twitter. So yeah, please join and please subscribe to the channel if you want to have a chance at getting one of each album. I'll only be giving out 2, and the deadline is also in the form. So yeah, please look at the details carefully before you join. And yeah, I'd like to say thank you very much for supporting our channel, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast.
I genuinely started intrigued and enticed by LOONA, right? When it come across this one video by this YouTube who actually used to post out K-pop news, and then they posted this one news about LOONA pre-debut project that hit estimated around billion of Korean won. So at that time I was like, who are these girls? And I was like so freaking enthusiastic to see what does this project is all about.
Right.
Then at that time I remember Hustle is already revealed, and I took the chance to get to know them, all 3 girls, and it turns out I'm hooked with all of them, like all of them, each and every one of them. And how I get into K-pop, basically the LOONA verse itself, how it exploded after OEC was announced, and then how each member's own style, concept, their own story, backstories. It just go like errated, spiral down from there. But this time around for me, I think it's spiral up.
Yeah, I should say that.
Spiraled up, not
I
spiral
should change
down.
it to spiral up now. Yeah, spiral up.
Spiraling up. Oh my gosh. Then what about you, Michael?
It's just so
I genuinely have no clue.
It's okay.
I guess it's the music more than anything, but the members are like really unique. Like Sakura Zaka 46 are really unique. I was a fan of SK48 before, like way back in 2009 around. I guess for me personally, it's just the members' personalities more than anything, and the music as well, obviously. So yeah.
Fair enough.
For that, Sakura Zuka is like the more newer ones.
Zaka.
Right? Zaka, fine, sorry. Sakura Zaka is the more newer ones, right? Or...
They used to be Keikazaka, but then they renamed and re-debuted.
Okay. Sorry, I thought they were like a completely new Zaka series group, but Sakamichi group.
No.
Okay. So it's a Keyaki rebrand.
Yeah.
Ah.
It was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Now I know. Now I relate to it. Okay, so Ruka?
Okay, so yeah, kind of like I mentioned before, I was super into anime when I was younger, so like naturally being into anime got me more into J-pop and more exposed to J-pop. Especially like one of the first like idol groups I remember coming across, like the earliest one I have in my memory is, I don't know if any of you guys remember them, but have you ever heard of Puffy Ami Yumi?
Yes.
Right, yes.
They were like one of the first J-pop groups I had ever been exposed to as a kid. And I didn't even know like what J-pop was.
I didn't even know they were a J-pop group. I thought they were
No,
a cartoon.
exactly.
Same.
Oh.
And then like getting into anime, I was exposed to more J-pop, like Hello Project was another one too that I got exposed to. Because one anime that I loved watching as a kid was Shugokara. And there was a Hello Project subunit called Bono that was made up of Suzuki Airi from Cute, and then 2 members from Berries Kobo, Miyabi and Momoko. I loved them. Like, they were awesome.
Yeah.
Nostalgic.
And then after that, similar to Misaki, I found out about the AKB0048 anime, but I didn't realize that they were based off a real group at first.
Exactly.
So when I found out that AKB was a real thing, it blew my mind.
I didn't know as well.
They're like Love Life or something, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It was just some anime, man. And then they'd be like, oh, Oshiwa Yuko. And
Wait, they have anime that?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Actual anime.
I think I actually knew about did I know about Love Live before 0048? I can't remember. I definitely remember being into this anime series called Idolmaster.
Oh yeah, Idolmaster.
Right.
Anime video game series mainly, but it had an anime adaptation, so I remember watching that when that came out, and I really liked that.
Oh yeah. Oh, for the Love Live homies. Hey, see Aqua. Okay. Anyways, go on.
Oh yeah. No, but yeah, I guess for the longest time, I've been exposed to J-pop idols and stuff like that long before I even got into AKB. And when I did, and when I was learning more about what idols were and learning about idol fandom culture, and through that just learning more about Japan culture in general and learning the language, because it was through anime and J-pop I taught myself how to speak Japanese. So that was fun. And so then getting into K-pop, kind of in the same roundabout way, being more exposed to J-pop idols got me exposed to K-pop idols, specifically Girls' Generation was a big one, Kara, FX, Red Velvet, a bunch of them. And then eventually around the same time when I was starting to get to know Misaki, and around the time Produce 48 happened and aizwan happened, I was of course, listening and supporting aizwan, but I wasn't a full-blown K-pop stan yet until Misaki introduced me to LOONA, and that changed everything.
The only person who would listen to me was Ruka.
I'm so sad now.
Because she was we were just casually chatting on a group chat, and she just brought up LOONA as a casual recommendation about oh yeah, they have a whole LOONAverse thing and stuff like that, and people make theories about it, and I'm you know what, I'm gonna check this out, and I just deep dived into them. It's once I started watching their music videos, I could not stop. I was oh, this is cool, I like this. I'm gonna check out more of these girls. And then after that, it was just a slow, gradual transition, moving away from J-pop and then more and more into K-pop. But don't get me wrong, I still love J-pop. I still listen to a couple different J-pop idols and stuff like that. But it's definitely, the way I put it previously before in one of our discussion videos on No Idol, No Life, is just that the passion has shifted.
Wow.
I still love AKB and I love J-pop, but that strong passion that I had kind of shifted over to K-pop because it was oh, this is interesting, this is different. I still love AKB, but now I'm finding all of these new groups too as well to get invested in. So yeah,
totally agree with whatever
that's been my idol journey.
Yes. Honestly, yeah. Passion definitely has shifted, for sure. I have to agree with that sentence wholeheartedly, my gosh. Ben, your turn.
Yeah. I have a somewhat similar story with Ruka, actually. So, well, not really that similar, but for me, J-pop, I think actually the same like Misaki, my J-pop roots was also anime. But I wasn't really that interested in the music, to be honest. I just watched a lot of anime because of my siblings and so on. But after some time, I think it was my older sister. She started to watch J-dramas when I was in school. At that time, the first idols I got into were actually Johnny's, which is boy groups, right? So I was really into Johnny's boy groups for quite a while, maybe a few years or so. And then I think it was just getting more into J-pop in general. You get to know Johnny's, and you find out other music the soloists, you find out about the female idols. So for me also basically just from going from one thing to another, something like what happened to Misaki as well. So I just somehow was exploring I can't remember, I think I was looking at the Oricon charts or something, and then I was kind of just randomly browsing through music, literally. So I think I went from Johnny's to I was really into a group called AAA. So they're a co-ed J-pop group.
Right.
And then from there, because once I was really big into AAA, right? So I was paying more attention to how they were doing on the Oricon charts and stuff like that. And I think there was one time that they released the same time as AKB, and at the time I had no idea who they were. I think it was 2009 or something, and they came up with River or something. I remember I used to be I wasn't very into that song though, because I thought at the time I was just like, why are they selling so much? And like, AAA is like, I don't know, selling like half the sales that they were selling or less than that maybe even. So I was just kind of like, what's up with this group? Like, why? Like, who are they? Kind of thing. And then Heavy Rotation came out in 2010. And again, I had like a really negative thought about it because I was like, why is this selling so much? It's just like all fan service or whatever, that sort of thing. And then, yeah, like for real. And then after that, Beginner came out. And Beginner was when I actually really got into AKB as like in general, because then I was, for some reason, I actually looked at the B-sides as well, which was, I think there was one in particular. It was called Nakeru Basho. And I was really surprised because I was like, wow, they can sing. Like, I was really ignorant.
Wow, they can sing.
I was so ignorant. Like, I just didn't think there was anyone in the group who could sing because, like, you only heard them sing together. Like, you didn't really know, like, how they, like, not like K-pop where they have, like, solo lines and stuff like that. With AKB, it's a lot of, like, joint lines. And, I can't really tell if they can sing, Like, it was just kind of like, they always sing to how am I supposed to know kind of thing. And then when I heard that song, and I was like, wow, they can sing. So I kind of like realized that, there's actually so many different members in this group, and they probably have like, many different talents and varieties. And I started watching like AK Bingo and getting to know slowly get into the other sister groups and stuff like that too. And that's actually true that eventually I got into NMB, which I was a fan of for, I don't even remember how long, but very long. From 2011 until like forever. So like, yeah, and I was really big into like Yamamoto Sayaka, and she was there until like 2018, so I couldn't really like fully leave until she left as well. So like, even though I was kind of detached at some point because of like uni and I got a bit busy and things like that, but like, because she was still there, I was also kind of still there, but maybe not 100% like until 2018 kind of thing, but kind of, I think I was until 2016, I would say, was my most active time as a NMB fan. After that, not as much. So yeah, so for that was like my whole J-pop story. But same like some of you here, I got into K-pop also through like Produce 48. Like, not really into K-pop, but becoming like an actual stan. Before that, I was casually into stuff like B2B. I liked, I even liked, from 2008 and 9, I can't really remember. I actually like stuff like For a Minute. I like 2NE1. I like some stuff here and there, like Beast. They're not called Beast anymore. Highlight. Yeah, like all those. I was quite into like Cube artists as well as some other. I like some SNSD songs. So there was also kind of like, I was always exposed to it, but I never really like engaged into fandom until 2018. So like 2018 was when Produce 48 came, and I was actually really open to it because I was like, I already know all these 48 girls. Like, I'm quite familiar with most of them, if not all of them. So I was actually more interested in the Korean trainees because like I knew nothing about them. I was thinking, it was fun to explore, to get to know more about like a different different environment, different like basically like a different industry altogether actually. So at the time, I actually got into, I won't really say I got big into aizwan right after Produce, because actually not really. Actually what happened was, I still remember, I think it was, this was actually the same trip I met Misaki in person.
What now?
I went to Japan. no, it's connected. I went to Japan to see an NMB graduate like Milky.
Then we went to watch a concert.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, so I went to see her concert, but we weren't sitting together, but we went to her concert. So, and just at the same time, I actually found out when I was going to Tokyo to meet some friends, aizwan also was going to have, what event was that even? It was like a so-called fan meeting, but it was basically just a big concert. It wasn't really a fan meeting, it was like a big concert with some games and them playing games, not us, and us watching them play games, and just like some like a live performance basically. And it was like a 2-day thing. Like, I wasn't actually intentionally just planning to go, but like since I was there, I had time. I basically just applied for tickets, and I got like, wasn't really that good tickets, but I got tickets. So I went for both days that they were there. And because I went to that concert, I think that was the point. I was thinking, this is actually quite fun. I quite enjoy this. So I think after that, first I talked to Misaki, and then she linked me to one of our local chat WIS1 groups. And actually it was through that, through getting to know all the other WIS1s and Misaki, and kind of when you engage with other people with fandom and stuff like that, was when I actually got more I consider myself started to be a K-pop fan for real at that time. After going for the live, randomly getting goods and then coming back oh yeah, this is great. That was basically the experience. But yeah, I think after that I was into Iceland for a while, but then I had a point of time in early 2020, where it's gonna get serious now, but I was a bit depressed, let's put it that way. So I was kind of a bit depressed because I was going through I was looking for a job at that time, and I was basically without a job for more than maybe about half a year. It was really tough for me at the time. So I was kind of, exploring new things. I was, jobless, so I was a bit free. So I could explore a lot of things. So at the time, I remember back in Produce, I actually quite like Shihyun, right? And I'd heard about her debuting. I kind of briefly looked at Everglow at the previous year. I liked Adios, but I didn't really look into the group back then. I liked the song, but that was it. And then I was I wonder how Shihyun is doing. That was literally my motivation. So I think in January I just decided to watch they have a variety show on YouTube called Everglow Land, and then I just watched that show, and basically that rest was history because I just fell in love with the group from watching the show. Then Dun Dun came out. I got so addicted to Dun Dun, and then basically after that I just kind of was just really into the group because I think what I enjoyed most about Everglow is that they somewhat reminded me about how I used to, I think what some of you guys said, how I used to passionately support NMB and stuff like that, right? For me, I found a group I could do that with in K-pop. It's not that IZONE wasn't a group like that, but because I think in a sense I really kind of at the time needed some sort of healing, and I found it when I was watching them, Everglow Land and things like that. And then also I think I really like the fact that honestly for me all 6 of them actually they're very talented, but at the same time I wouldn't really call them perfect at what they do. All have their flaws, and I can really see it through their performances, but I can basically from one comeback to the other I can see them improving. I can see them taking new challenges, kind of pushing themselves further to do better than their previous comeback, and always topping themselves. I think that reminded me a lot of what I liked about J-pop, what I liked a lot about Sayaka, for example, which I still am a huge fan of. So I think that for me it really resonated, and that's why I stand Everglow.
I'll just give you a clap for that. Wow. I'm not even going to talk more about myself, but yeah, most of you guys yeah, I already said kind of my story, Produce, then IZONE and stuff. But yeah, if I had to really pick out the ones that I really, really, really support with all my heart, my soul, it's LOONA and Promisnine, both. Literally equally. Okay, maybe not equally, maybe slightly different, but and also the reason is also kind of Ben's story where there was this depressive episode in our lives, and 2019 was really, really, really bad on me because of a lot of things in my private life. And it was also around that time that I watched a clip of LOONA through their KCON LA performance. They performed Not Today, and I thought, until now, I still thought that was their song. I didn't know it was a BTS song. I didn't know they were covering a freaking BTS song. I'm so sorry, BTS fans, I didn't know. So I was oh dang, LOONA can perform. I don't know what song this is, but I love this song. So I thought it was their song, and I checked out their discography. I couldn't find Not Today. Yeah, then I'm like, alright, never mind, it's okay. But then again, it made me check out their discography, right? So it's like, it's a win-win situation regardless. So yeah, I ended up I knew True, so when I watched them perform, I was like, wow, True can sing. I didn't know she was one of the main vocalists at that time, so I'm really sorry. So I was like, okay, True can sing. And then but there's this one person that kept doing like the gun move. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, why is she so cool? Who is this person? Why does she keep catching my attention? Then I was like, Google search, image search, like, who is this person? Oh, Kim Lip. Why is her name
Google
Kim
search.
Lip? This so like, her name doesn't make any sense. Like, what is Kim Lip? But then again, I was thinking Chu doesn't make sense. So like, alright, whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll just look at LOONA's, I don't know, MV or something. Then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just check on the members' personalities, and it just keeps going on and on. I just started slow with True and Kim Lip, and then slowly I started remembering, oh, this person's name Heejin, the one with the low voice, blah blah blah, and then I just kept going there, and then I don't know how or why I did that, but I basically watched theory videos before I finished watching all of the MVs. Then I'm like, I don't know why I did that. I was like, okay, maybe I'll just watch LOONA theory videos because it feels like I'm going to watch an anime episode. So okay, I'll just try. And I literally every day after work, I would spend like 1-2 hours just watching theory videos. I don't know why. Don't ask. I just don't know why. Then I'm like, oh wow, quantum physics, pineapple theory. Like what is going on? I'm like, all right, cool. I'm into this. And okay, at that point, while watching all these theory videos, I do not remember their names yet. Can't think about it. I can only remember Chu and Kim Lip. And then every single theory that's going in my head is like, okay, I remember the theory, but I do not remember the members' names at that point. So it's a very strange introduction for me for like LOONA, but yeah, eventually I got to know everyone, blah blah blah, and then spiraled upwards, and really spiraled upwards. So yeah, really. And for Promise is also kind of the same thing. I got to know Aizwan because obviously produced, right? So I decided to follow the group anyway. So at that point of time, the only sad thing that happened was Sayaka graduating. Honestly, so it's like, sad thing. It's a happy thing, but it's a sad thing, right? At the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so Aizwan healed me there, but it's like, it's not a big life-changing kind of thing, right? Whereas Promise, when I watched them, it was because of that red light cover thing. Gyuri with the eye patch, my gosh! Gyuri with the eye patch!
That cover was really cool.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, that one I knew it was a cover because it says red light cover, okay? So I'm not that stupid. So I'm like, alright, okay, I'll check out Promise9, and then eventually I watched like their the whole idol school thing, and then everything, just to know them as like people. Yeah, otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? So after that, during that time, it was the start of my depressive episode. So literally, Promise was like helping me through the start of my depressive episode, and LOONA was like helping mending me during the depressive episode. So I'm like, oh wow, these two are like linked. And that's why until now,
Angels.
Yeah, they are like, that two precious groups that really, help me through a lot of things. And that's why I stand them a lot. They are really my emotional pillars, and all of them are great, and then their companies are equally as sucky. And then they just vibe the same. I don't know, I just feel like they vibe the same, and they were also on the same episode in one of the variety shows, so that was great.
That's right. There was a whole variety show where they were both of them together.
And at that time,
that was awesome.
No, at that time it was hilarious because I got into Promise first, right? So I actually, literally, I'm so sorry for saying this, I skipped through LOONA's parts first. Like, legit, I just skipped, man. Like, whenever it's like LOONA's turn to start, I was you promised. So I was like, I'm not gonna care about these 12 girls. Yeah, right. Yeah, but yeah,
So funny.
Okay, eventually I watched everything like almost over 10 times just to make up for it. Okay, I felt bad. I felt actually bad. So yeah, but that's pretty much my little story, I guess. Funny times. Now this is going to be a bit more controversial, maybe not really, but what's the differences between like the stan support culture between J-pop and K-pop?
I wasn't even really into like the fandom culture when it came to the 48 groups. I was just liking them on my own.
No, that's actually
I don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
I didn't really find anyone, I guess, because I just went on like followed them on Twitter and like check every day their posts, check their Instagram posts pretty much. If they did a showroom, then I'm there.
No, but that's actually the thing. I would agree with Aaron, because when I got into J-pop, I think that's why I'm so fervently interested into K-pop, because I feel like I'm part of a fandom per se. Whereas for like my J-pop lifetime, I know Ruka, right? And then eventually I knew Ben, but like I don't know, I just do not have like that community. I just basically was supporting the groups by myself the whole time throughout my J-pop life. And the only reason why I may or may not have like a small little community was because of fan fiction. Okay, let's not talk about that. Alright, so yes, moving on.
I mean, me and Michael will vouch for you. We literally met on a forum site.
Oh, okay, yes.
The two of us.
Yeah, see, that's right. So it's like it's like slightly harder compared to Stan Twitter. So
Yeah.
I guess that's why. Anything you want to add?
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I guess with J-pop, well, J-pop honestly, like Twitter and stuff. Okay, for me, it's maybe a little bit different because, like, in a way, yeah, like the community is not as like what do you call it? Like the fandom. I don't even know if you can call it a fandom per se, but for me, I actually always had people about. But
nice.
The thing is that they were all over the world. Like I didn't really have people in the same country, for example. Even if I had, only found out about them like 10 years later or something. But most of the ones I knew were like not in the same country, mostly. And then like for me, because I had a little bit of an advantage at the time because I was from quite an early, I think from around 2014, I was actually doing like fan translating and things like that.
That's right.
So as a fan translator, you do kind of able to kind of reach out to more people because you translate stuff and then like people follow you and then you're like, oh look, this person, they're interesting, blah blah blah, and then you can try to talk to them and stuff like that. So in the sense, I was in a position where I could kind of find people and talk to them, and I think as you guys said, I think with J-pop it's actually harder to find people. Like in K-pop, I can just like type the name of the group and like 10 like I don't know 1,000 people pop up. I type a group in J-pop, like you can maybe find some people, but it's not as easy. And then knowing Japanese does help because you can talk to Japanese fans, but it's also still different because their lives and like our lives are international fans. It's really diverse. It's really different. But that's like the challenges to get about. Like I would say J-pop stan culture is a lot more, as Misaki said, it's more like individual supporting. Like you kind of do your own thing. I support this group. If I feel like buying a single, I buy a single. If I feel like watching a showroom, I watch a showroom. But I don't really like I don't do this whole engagement thing where like, oh, I'm gonna like join with these guys and try to vote on a music show, or like I don't basically like you don't really
jump on a podcast.
Like, like you basically you won't like I don't know, like back when I was in J-pop, I just feel more like I was doing things more for myself in that sense. Like even when I translated stuff, it was because like I wanted to share it out to more people, but at the same time I was also doing it because like it was helping me get like not get rusty with Japanese, for example. It wasn't so much like with K-pop translators, right? It's like more pressure as well because there's so many people waiting for your translations and waiting for like for your subs and stuff. But for J-pop, they take whatever they can get. So I could just take my time and be like, I just feel like releasing this today. I released this whole interview or something, and I just felt like doing it, and I just released it. Like no one tells me what to do. I just do whatever I want, basically. So there was that sense of freedom, I guess. In terms of when I was in J-pop, I just kind of did whatever I wanted. But I feel like K-pop, there's more engagement in both good and bad ways, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more good and bad ways.
Okay, I think fan culture in K-pop viewers, I think how it got from step one, how the company themselves revealed the news of the debuting a new girl group or boy group, right? So from that day on, it's already garnered a lot of attention and a lot of fans coming in and anticipating of what group are they going to reveal, who are the members, and they are already assuming who are going to be in the lineup of the members. So from that day, it goes forward to making a lot of fans coming in, and just fan coming in and build these group chats, Discords and all that on top of before the group even debuted. So how different it was with how usages now, they are very community based, I would say. That they even organized the Cup Eve event, let's say, and they were looking forward to go to concerts together, world tour together, and how all the communities are very strong together. The fandoms are very strong together, and if they're nominated in a music show, they will just go and mass vote together, all of them. So the fandom bond is everyone just stick around together for that one group, one particular group. That's how I think the stan culture for K-pop goes.
Yeah.
Back to 48 group, the 48 group fandom, for example. I think the Sakamichi groups more community groups than 48 group websites.
Oh, really?
Especially with online stuff becoming online nowadays. It's especially with instead of handshake events, there's online meet and greets now. So it's the same application process, but especially with Sakura Zaka, for example, there's the system that's happening with Senbatsu and stuff. Both international and Japanese fans kind of band together to support specific favorites. Well, most of the time it's the popular members selling out first. But, through knowing that, it's fans of other members kind of band together to help sell slots and stuff. So it's that kind of thing is kind of becoming more prevalent with especially 46 groups. So
Wow, to think that
it's changed.
Yeah, it's changed. That's why I'm kind of
changed
curious.
Drastically from the early 2010s.
Back then it was one girl fending for themselves, and then just one supporting that one person no matter what. You just focus on that one person, push her all the way up, and then now it's more I don't know.
Now it's more people have become fans of the group in general as opposed to one.
That's a nice change, I have to admit. I'm a bit surprised. it's nice to hear that.
Obviously, I was saying before, since I got into anime and it got me exposed to J-pop and J-pop idols as well. Around the time when I was getting into anime and I was growing up getting into anime, it was definitely still a very niche thing over here in America.
Yeah.
Growing up in elementary school through high school, I did not know a lot of people who knew what anime was. And most people who did it, they either knew it through me or just had very limited knowledge about it, one particular series, Dragon Ball, for example.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And that was the same thing for J-pop when I was getting into AKB and learning more about J-pop idols and stuff like that. Is that was such a niche thing that I didn't know anyone who knew about that, who either didn't hear it from me or, again, very limited knowledge, knew about J-pop through anime. J-pop in itself was a niche within a niche, at that time.
Oh boy. Yeah, right.
Like, obviously nowadays, like, anime is definitely more prevalent, more people know about it. It's definitely more mainstream, I'd say would be the right word.
Yeah, it has.
And that's the same with K-pop, because like after K-pop blew up, K-pop has been more mainstream. It's like people know more K-pop in the US. Meanwhile, J-pop is still like a niche within a niche.
True.
Like there's still barely a lot of people, which is why, like, you know, I interacted with stuff like forum sites and stuff like that where I met Michael and stuff like that, and other social medias where I was looking for people who I could talk with who had this shared interest with me, and that's basically the main reason I made the channel, the No Idol No Life channel, is because I wanted an outlet where I could just put out like my passion, where I could try to find people who like had that shared interest with me and talk to people about it, because it's like I want this to be more known, basically.
Aww. Yeah.
So,
I see your point.
Yeah. And yeah, like definitely, like you all have been saying, like the sort of fan engagement and fan interaction stuff and stuff like that is definitely different between both J-pop and K-pop, and especially now times have changed from like the 2010s and stuff like that, especially with the current situation that's going on in the world. Different from how things used to be.
True.
So it's like, it's interesting that I could like essentially be a part of both of these worlds and see this like transition come in of like, you know, how times are changing and how interaction with, you know, both types of fandoms has like changed and are different from each other and how they're changing over time. And one thing that I was thinking when you, Ven, and Misaki were talking about your earlier stories being like how your groups basically were helping you through really rough, depressing times during your life, I definitely do agree that like idols are essentially a place of comfort for us, for their fans. You know, it's like, they were definitely, AKB and the 48 group was definitely a place of comfort for me during, like, high school. If I was, like, having trouble with high school, it's like, AKB was a place where, like, I could go to them and feel comfort for them. During, like, you know, college stuff, it was the same. And especially when I was, like, getting more into Dreamcatcher, because they were, like, even though I didn't stand them at that point, I still loved them. And I loved their music, so like, yeah, that definitely was kind of the same way through college. And now, being more invested in K-pop as well, I feel so invested in them, and obviously, you know, like, you have, you know, there's a lot of comparison of, like, you know, the K-pop, they're very refined, very polished. It's like, you know, their dancing is perfect, their singing is perfect, everything about them is perfect. You know, where you have J-pop, where you actually see them, like, you know, starting from scratch, you know, like, developing as time goes on into that, you know, essentially, you know, that perfect ideal idol. But, you know, even with that, I still think, you know, it's one and the same. You're watching these girls, you know, like, growing and develop as idols, and you're learning about them more as people. And you know, sometimes you get to see sides to them that are, like, very relatable. You see that they can be very human and very down-to-earth, very relatable. So, again, that's just an added sense of comfort, because, you know, if you find that sense of relatability to them, you definitely connect with them more.
Yeah, and you basically segued to my next topic, actually. I was about to talk about, like, the differences between performances, but, like, yeah, you already saying that everything is perfect, whereas one is, like, still being polished and stuff, so... Yeah. Like,
in J-pop, definitely, it's like, even if, like, this particular idol isn't, like, the best singer or the best dancer, for example, sometimes what definitely helps them shine is their personality. Like they can, like, in, you know, like, there are certain members, like, I can think in, like, the 48 or 46 group that, like, they aren't known for being, like, the best singers or the best dancers, but if you, like, put them on a variety show, you see their personality shine.
Yeah.
Like, one that I can think, Michael, you'll probably know this one, on, like, the Sakamichi side is, she's graduated from the group now, but a Hinata Zaka 46 member, Iguchi Mao.
Mao.
She was not the best singer, not the best dancer, but she had this really fun and funny personality, especially when it came out in variety show, that like a lot of fans, you know, gravitated towards her just because like she was such a fun personality to watch on these shows, even though she wasn't like one of the most talented members.
Speaking of Sakamichi, I think a lot of Sakura members specifically as well, like jack of all trades, like I can think of Takamoto Yui, for example. She's a good dancer, but she's also really funny in variety shows as well. And it's like getting to see them perform like so charismatically, but at the same time in variety shows you just see them be such cool. So it's the same with K-pop, I assume. Like you see them very charismatic on stage, and then when you see them on shows, it's like completely different to what you see. And I think that's the beauty of both J-pop and K-pop, really, is that you see sides to members that you don't normally associate with that member. Some members may not be the best at variety, but when they perform, it's like, I can think of one Sakura member that comes to mind when it comes to that. Like, you don't assume she's the best at singing or dancing or variety. You see her on stage and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, so actually I wanted to add something because of what I heard from you guys before this. So I was just actually thinking, right, how many of you guys were were into K-pop from around like early 2010s, maybe slightly before that as well? Okay, so basically why I'm bringing that up is because for me, I remember when I was like still new to K-pop, well, not really new, but because I had classmates who liked K-pop, so I kind of had some exposure to it back in my high school days. But I really remember my image of K-pop was like the idols who seemed really like not just perfect, but they were very distant presence, like perfect beings in a different world, kind of. I had that like impression, I remember like really clearly. I think because I had a bit of like idea, or because I think it was because of DBSK. Because I knew people who liked them, and then they had this image like they were really above. How would I say? Like, you know, they were like beings from a different universe kind of vibe. I think their name literally means gods of the rising east. So, but yeah, so I remember that was what K-pop was actually used to be like. Interestingly, it actually changed a lot. Like when you think about what K-pop is now. Because like I thought about J-pop, for example, like in comparison to K-pop back then, was that, you know, J-pop idols were more relatable, especially on female idols side.
Right.
At one time they were more, you know, especially with like AKB and all that, they're like idols you can meet, handshake events, like, you know, all that was brought over to K-pop. So like it was really interesting that how both industries actually, I feel like, you know, somewhat influence each other at some point of time at least. And then so like, for example, like now in K-pop, like, honestly, for international fans, I feel like, you know, most of you guys, if not all of you, would probably agree that it's a lot easier to like not just engage in K-pop fandom, but even like engage with the artists, because they have like so many platforms now for K-pop. Very easy to access, like, you know, VLive, you have like Fan Cafe, you have like I don't even know what the apps are. Universe, Twitter. Yeah, like so many apps, right? And then like J-pop also kind of followed through after that, but kind of a bit later, and also not as much. So most of them have Twitter accounts. I think they have Showroom.
Yeah, and then Nana
stuff
Gogo.
like Showroom.
The Nana Gogo.
Yeah, Nana Gogo. They do have them. They do have them, but I still feel like it's a lot easier to be a J-pop idol fan living in Japan, especially if you like stuff like underground idols, even more so if you live in Japan. But like for K-pop in general, is even regardless if the group is like a really famous group or just like a newly debuted group, a lot of times actually, because of the way they promote themselves globally, it's easier to engage in their content because they tend to release like, you know, YouTube videos quite early on. They tend to have like, you know, platforms like Fan Cafe, VLive, Viverse, and all those I mentioned before this. So I feel like for me now, for international fans, in a way, because I'm lazy as well, it's easier to access content in like K-pop. Where J-pop, I'm kind of like, I could access content, but then, you know, it takes too much time. Even when I want to watch like a variety show, I have to look through like some random Russian site or something to watch like the TV show. And then whereas with K-pop, a lot of it is on YouTube, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like that's the difference for me.
And also to add for the social media aspect of K-pop and J-pop, I feel like for J-pop or for AKB in general, they're just more open. Like it's not more forced by the company. As in like using like social media. As in like you can get like, I don't know, some AKB member to like they can just post like anything really on their Instagram.
Yeah, or on their Twitter as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, they get to be their own manager in terms of their own social media publicity. Compared to, I guess the best example right now in my head would be like LOONA. LOONA has like, you know, scheduled posts, which I don't know, it's probably done by the company.
Yeah, it's a lot of scheduled posts.
Yeah, for Promise, thank goodness, because of the Feel Good era, that they have their own Instagram now. So yeah, so it's because of that. They kind of have like free reign, kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, for groups like LOONA, we know
Still
how
have.
bad it is. So, yeah, I think so. Yeah, the free reign part, I guess J-pop, they still have it. But I think showroom is scheduled, no?
I'm not sure.
Sure, but
Well,
I think
it's like it usually. Well, first off, it depends on the member's age, because if it's like for younger members, they like have a curfew, and then like for most of the time, I think for showroom broadcasts, they can usually last up until midnight. I can't remember because I haven't been on showroom in forever.
Same, don't worry, it's fine, same.
Yeah.
And yeah, in terms of like, again, that fan engagement on like social media and stuff like that, in terms of K-pop, I think it definitely depends on the company.
yes,
That's true.
definitely.
Because, you know, like, you have, you know, like, BBC who, like, it's like they, you know, like, they schedule stuff, they plan it out, they don't really give the girls permission to, like, do it for me. It's like, you know, like, they kind of plan it out themselves.
That's right.
Whereas, like, on my end, I can speak on this from the other end with Dreamcatcher, with their company, Dreamcatcher Company and Happy Base. They give them permission to do whatever the heck they want, when they want to do it.
Yes.
Like, it's like, oh, you want to do a cover? Okay, let's go to the studio and record it. Oh, you want to do something on V-Live and interact with fans? Okay, let's do it. Think of you want to be like, you want to do a low-budget music video in the company office? Let's do it. They have literally done that.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
because I stand both of these groups and both of their companies treat them so differently. I definitely understand, you know, both sides. You know, like you know, the companies that like treat their idols really good and actually give them permission to do stuff, whereas companies like BBC are just very limiting.
And OTR. OTR. Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of sad because both of my fandoms, my favorites, are under these very strict and a bit annoying companies. So it sucks, really. It actually sucks.
Yeah, there's definitely a company though. Yeah, I do definitely forgot to bring that up, but it's basically also. But then, because even with 48G, I'm not too sure about like all the members. To my knowledge, right? It does feel though that they have a little bit of restriction while they're still members in terms of what they can post, in a sense. Like, it's not like 100% free reign, but in a way, I don't know, maybe that also depends on members. But for example, I can remember very clearly that before Sayaka graduated from NMB48, remember she never responded to fans on her social media before, like not even once. But after she graduated, she had like Insta stories, she responded to those. Graduated idols, you know, they do anything they want, obviously, but like there was a difference. Like, I could see her social media, she had a lot more free reign after her graduation, or I'm not sure whether just her that's being like stoic, but I think to a certain extent, there are some idols who do respond to fans and things like that. So maybe it's just like a personal choice and so on and so forth as well. So, but I do think that it's a little bit of restriction in terms of like, not really restriction, but Like, they posted something wrong, they'll probably get told to delete it, that sort of thing. They do have a bit like here and there, but it's not not to the extent of like, what you guys said about LOONA having like, fixed posts as like, they don't have that, but I think it's not 100% either. Like, there's still a little bit here and there.
It also depends on with J-pop. It also depends on the group, like how wide their social media is. Like, as you guys said, 48 group have Twitter and Instagram, whereas most of the Sakamichi groups don't have that, but they have like paid mobile mail. They've got blogs. And it varies widely how often members kind of update. But with Nogizaka, they're starting to get Instagrams for like the popular members, I guess. So, yeah.
But I think they've also, I don't know, I think they dabbled into the YouTube sphere as well, because a lot of 48 group members, or I don't know if people about 46.
That's true.
They're all YouTubers. Kind of.
Started with Akarin.
Yeah, I know it started with her. Yeah, it started with her, but then
first one.
Now it's like it's snowballed to a 48 group thing. Like every single member somehow has a YouTube channel. So
almost,
So I guess there's like the engagement there as well, I suppose, and more freedom also, I guess.
More exposure.
More exposure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'd also say on the J-pop side, a lot of the social media or stuff that they engage with fans with is only limited to in Japan.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Like, there are definitely platforms like YouTube and Twitter which lets them interact with their international fans, but there's also a lot of stuff that's only restricted to the Japanese fans.
So Matsui Jurina right now, she has like a private mail app, kind of like the Universe app, where you can like communicate with the idol kind of thing. It's called FunnyCon, I guess. So so she basically posts like pictures and then posts videos and then sometimes does like live streams even through the app. And then people can like talk to her directly, and then she actually sees every single message very clearly. I don't know how, but like So
is it like international or just Japan?
So I wanted to get into it. So it's like now there's apparently international. It's internationally supported as well. So I think that's like a kind of like a breakthrough thing. I don't know why it's only Jurina who's doing it through this app. But so now they really cater to international fans because they have like notices like, we want to ship out your membership kit or something like that. So and then they will put it in English, and then they'll be like overseas fans only, and then they have like a headline there, and then they have like proper stuff there. Then I'm like, honestly, I'm like super surprised because come on, it's like Jurina, and then kind of niche, kind of.
niche.
But like now it's, I don't know, for her I feel like this is like very worldwide now, so I guess props to her and her company for letting her use this platform. I hope like 48 group would try to use this one instead of being so restrictive, and as if they don't want to grow. That's the thing, like K-pop is such a big thing because they like to include the international crowd, even though our opinions sometimes do not matter. Our opinions probably do not matter, but like it's nice of them to include like all of us instead of just being only Koreans per se or only Japan per se, right?
Yeah, and I honestly thought that they would, maybe because not too sure, but with Jurina, obviously she had her experience on Produce, and maybe that could be her volition on her side. I'm not too sure either.
No idea.
But also in this pandemic, right? Like I don't see why they don't want to expand more to international fans when it's even hard to get jobs in Japan right now. Like they really should, literally.
I honestly don't
for
know.
their survival as well.
Yeah, that's why. But, I mean,
especially in these last 2 years.
There's one thing I really want to add. Do you know like NMB's 7th generation or something actually has like a Korean person now?
Saw. What about that? Today.
Like actual Korean for once, like in the 48 group. Like what? What's
right?
I think she's the second one. There was one in SDN 48 before.
SDN, well, yeah, but like this is like a proper 2021 generation kind. So I'm like, wow.
I also I just gotta say, I also find it extremely funny that the new NMB member's name is Lee Xian.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a Dreamcatcher member whose name is Lee Xian.
Oh yeah.
Oh, literally the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same spelling, everything.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess she'll cover Dreamcatcher next time. But
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think that's super cool, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. I have to agree. That it's called, how do you call it? Like trying to get everyone together, unifying different cultures. And
there's definitely, obviously there have been members like that in the past with members who they're mixed, like Akimoto Sayaka or HKT's Murashige Anna,
Right.
or members who they can speak fluent English, like Gotorara, for example, or Hiratarina, because she grew up in the States and she's half American. And then members like Machalin as well, who's from Taiwan.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I haven't
And
heard of
obviously, encompassing as well the international sister groups as well, like BNK48, JKT48.
Yeah.
Those
stuff all that stuff, encompassing being very inclusive, basically.
Yeah, but then again, I still feel like it's very region specific as well. It's not like they are trying to include globally,
right.
But then at the same time, you just feel like there's still a divide. Like Jakarta 48 would definitely just be very appealing to Indonesian fans, and then BNK would still be like for Thai fans. It's like you can still feel it. You can still feel that little, I don't know, there's like a barrier. I guess that's the way to put it.
I think that was their concept, literally, to appeal to their to their local fan base.
Yeah, it's just
Or not even local, their region actually. Oh, that's the whole reason why they started in different countries and things like that. But I mean, of course, it'd be great if they did at least a little bit more to reach out to international fans, because they did go on tour before, for example, with NMB, AKB, SKE even. So I don't know. I don't really get what is their whole deal, because they went on tour. It means that they do kind of want to get out there. They're not putting the next step after that. Confuses me a little bit. Like, what do you actually want to do? Sort of thing.
Yeah, it's true. Plus, I mean, they can't do tours right now, but at least K-pop, the K-pop side, they're doing all these online concerts and stuff. So
Online concerts.
it's good enough.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel.
the thing as well.
But
Fan idol online concerts. Again, a lot of them are region specific.
Oh,
That's the issue.
Are they? I don't know.
I'm not too sure, but a lot of the sites they use are not some of them are, some of them aren't, I think. Some of them you can access, some of them maybe you can't. I'm not too sure because I didn't really look into it. But some of them do use sites that are international sites that you can watch. But I think there are some that are more Japanese sites, so I'm not too sure if you can. And even if you can, if the people don't know Japanese, it might be tough, that sort of thing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I think it depends. I'm not too sure.
Okay, well, yes, so now we've finished our very first discussion. I actually really enjoyed it. I like to hear everyone's thoughts on literally almost everything. So thank you for joining me today, guys.
It was fun.
Thank you for inviting us.
having us.
Yeah, I hope we can do this again next time. I'm trying to make it like a once a month thing, but we'll see. We'll see. But I mean, it is fun. It is nice to know about stuff that's happening on different sides. And yeah, I guess we've all learned a lot of things too. Today, I feel. So yeah, I did put a giveaway information thing somewhere in this video by the time I've edited it. So whoever wants to join the giveaway, go listen somewhere within this video. I don't know where. It's probably in 31 minutes or whatever. I don't know. You just have to find it if you want to join the giveaway. but Yes, I'm very cheeky like that. So come on, give me some watch time, man. Give me some watch time. But yeah, I hope we can discuss next time on the second. No, is it going to be a second episode? I have no idea if this is going to be episode 0 or 1 or whatever. But the next episode, I hope you all can join again, or we might have new guests. Who knows? I don't know anything yet. But yes, please go subscribe to all these wonderful people's channels, or follow their Twitter somewhere here, everywhere, yeah. And also everything is all in the description below in case I'm too lazy to edit everyone's social media everywhere.
Wow.
But yeah, really, and I'm just joking. I might put in effort. I'll put in a bit of effort. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And we're gonna sign out now.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe. And
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.